Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, we got a video by Jimmy High Roller titled, "The Warriors Should Have Never Won This Championship." So, I will say 100%, man, like, I don't know what this video is about. I'm gonna guess, Jimmy's gonna be hitting us with some knowledge and stuff like that. But I will say, that's like one thing I don't like about sports fans, is that we all collectively roast other teams and franchises about how they'll never win a ring or something like that, or just like how their team has no chance. And then once they do, we discredit them for it and be like, these are all the reasons that they should have won the championship and stuff like that. When all reality, like, I can't think of a single season where there wasn't something that happened, some player getting injured or something happening here or there or whatever, that didn't affect things. Like, it's just like part of sports when you ask me, man. The only season that I can remember in which it was an absolutely perfect playoff run in ring, I forgot who won the championship this season, but I just remember it was the perfect year. It was in 2004. I don't remember who won the championship that year, but I do remember that was the year of the perfect ring. So, yeah, let's check this out and see what it's all about.
Just didn't go our way. I don't know how many different ways to say it, but it was a special year, all things considered, and a new experience for me.
That's when they got Wiseman, right?
Tried to make the most of it, come back, bottle this up, everybody make the right strides, take advantage of the summer, and
no, that was 2 years ago. That would have been playing tournament. They got Wiseman.
You don't want to see us next year.
291 days later.
It's over. The Golden State Warriors return to a familiar place. They're on top of the NBA world. The fourth title in 8 years. The Dubs dynasty is still...
Yo, what's it like to have a team win the championship in your arena?
Against all odds, the Warriors are now the 2022 NBA champions. Somehow, this team that was dead in the water just 2 seasons ago has been crowned NBA champions. But this team had no business even being here in the first place. This Warriors team was never supposed to win this championship.
Why not?
A roster full of has-beens and fringe players making a run at a championship? It's impossible. Well, at least it should have been impossible.
Man, which one of y'all out there calling them has-beens? Man, I don't know. Like, yeah, I switched it up a few times, on who I said was going to win the finals, but I knew the Warriors were going to be back to some extent. I didn't know that.
Curry. And as I was watching Steph completely dismantle the Boston Celtics on their home court to close out the finals, I thought to myself, I'll more than likely never see another player like this in my lifetime.
Not right,
what Steph is doing cannot be duplicated or repeated. He is truly a one of one.
Over the Pistons draft, have a good chance.
I think it's time we take a closer look at where he ranks among the greatest players to ever play this game. Because the Warriors should have never won this championship. Today's video is brought to you by SeatGeek.
All right, let's get the man. Okay, there you go, guys. Code Jimmy, man. I don't like showing the sponsorship just because they kind of drag on a bit, but I do always like showing the person's code because obviously they have their video sponsored. So there you go. Okay.
There's the buzzer. There's a new dynasty in the NBA.
85-108. What's with all the damn low-ass scoring finals games?
Once again, back-to-back.
The Celtics only dropped like high 80s.
And the latest with a sweep.
Do y'all remember exactly where you were and how you felt when this happened? I do. I vividly remember watching the Warriors dismantle the NBA year after year.
I can't say where I was at, to be honest. Probably my first apartment.
I remember sitting idly by as my favorite player was getting walked out of the building in the finals. It was inevitable, and it felt perpetual, like the reign of the Golden State Warriors was never going to end, and I would spend the rest of my days watching this unbeatable, unstoppable Goliath of a basketball team.
That's how it felt with KD.
Every single organization that stood in their way. I felt hopeless. The Warriors pushed me to the brink of insanity, and it was never going to end. Or, at least, that's what I thought.
Ibaka trying to stay with Durant, knocks it away, and Durant's limping. Durant goes down.
Damn injuries, man.
Thompson running the floor, and a foul. And Thompson grabs...
Y'all think if KD never got injured, do you think he would have still stuck around with Golden State?
Steph Curry with a lot of contact. He's holding that left wrist.
And that was it. A 5-year run,
makes you wonder.
Their spot as one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history, all came crumbling down in a matter of moments. Goliath had fallen, and for the first time in half a decade, the door was open for other teams to win it all. The Raptors won their first championship in
Pistons
franchise
still
history. The Bucks won their first championship in half a century, and the Lakers were crowned champions for the first time in a decade. The Dragon had been
You know, I do like that, though. You know, I'm cool with the Warriors getting another one, to be honest, man. Like, I really actually like their story. I do like that. I don't know, people did write them off, because, like, we forgot about the pre-KD Warriors. But I've also really enjoyed seeing, you know, multiple different teams, you know, Lakers, Bucks, Raptors, you know, win the championship over the past few seasons. Like, it's been a lot of fun, too, just, you know, different experiences and stuff.
I could now rest knowing the Golden State Dynasty...
Dynasty can get a little dry sometimes, ain't gonna lie. Yeah, you guys got Jordan Poole and Kuminga and Wiseman. Be doing it for the next 10 years.
Remarkable run by any measure that only a handful of teams in the history of NBA have accomplished. Congratulations.
Only a handful.
You are the 2022 NBA champions.
I couldn't have been more wrong. Because somehow, despite injuries and roster changes and ups and downs and everything in between, the Warriors are champions once again. We said they were getting too old. We said they were too...
You know what? I really... Man, this has really had me thinking. If Klay Thompson, who is a primary, you know, shooter and everything like that, obviously, you know, a good defender too, especially back in the day. Man, if players can come back from those types of injuries in the amount of just, like, wear and tear it puts on the body, imagine how long a person who goes relatively injury-free could play in the NBA in this era, man. Like, you really might see cases where you got, like, these sharpshooters playing until they're damn 45, 46. Like, if Steph Curry was damn 40 years of age and still getting buckets, and he'd get another super max, a mega contract, call it a mega contract, man. Like, I mean, I could see stuff like that happen. I'm just saying, like, I feel like, especially LeBron James, like, you know, everything, what he's doing everything too, like, take his body to the next level. Like, man, we might see some players around for a while.
Injury prone. We said the roster looked like a G League team. We said they couldn't win without Kevin Durant. And they proved us all wrong. Just last season, if you told me the Warriors were going to win another championship, let alone a championship this season, I would have checked you into a mental institution.
50.
They went from one of the best teams in the history of the NBA to the worst team in the NBA to champions again in record time. Just take a moment to appreciate this roster that defied all odds and became champions. Out of the 14 players that suited up in the postseason,
I love that pass.
6 of them
had
had zero playoff experience. Instead of seeking out the brightest stars around the league, the Warriors went and acquired players that fit within their system and maxed out their potential. They found value in guys like Gary Payton Jr. and Otto Porter Jr. They saw immense utility in guys like Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole and gave them a chance to shine on the biggest
I actually
stage.
really love it.
Even Andre
Really
Iguodala, the oldest player in the entire NBA, played a crucial role as a mentor and a leader for the Warriors throughout the playoffs. This was a masterclass
would've given the Finals
on
MVP again.
coaching, adjustments, and players buying into their role and maximizing their impact on the game. The catalyst of this improbable run, the once-in-a-lifetime talent of Stephen Curry. Before this year's playoffs, we were asked who had the most to prove and whose legacy would be altered the most with the championship.
Chris
I
Paul.
thought maybe Chris Paul,
Yeah.
Giannis, James Harden, maybe even Luka Doncic. But the answer all along was Stephen Curry. Because now that he has a long-awaited, well-deserved finals
Yeah, but
MVP,
he's still a few more years to
the
get
man has
one.
done it all.
CP3
4
getting there.
championships, 2 MVPs, 8 All-NBA teams, 8 All-Star appearances, 2 scoring titles, an All-Star MVP, most three-pointers in NBA history, and a Finals MVP. One of the greatest careers the NBA has ever seen.
Has he passed Magic,
And at
guys?
34 years old, he is still as incredible as ever. Now, as NBA fans, we have an unhealthy obsession with all-time rankings, moving players around on our all-time list every other week like some sort of sick game of musical chairs. But if we're going to be honest with ourselves,
the rankings,
I think we
though.
can all agree that there are a handful of players that remain a step above everyone else. And these are those players. Now, where you choose to rank these players will be different depending on who you ask. Personally, I have them ranked like this.
Oh, wait.
Now,
Yo. Let me see this. Michael, LeBron, Kareem, Magic, Kobe, Larry, Shaq, Bill, Tim Duncan, Wilt Chamberlain. You know, respect for having Tim Duncan up there, though. I will say that. Not a lot. Not everybody. I just said that not a lot of people. but, you know, people often don't, I guess.
Oh, this all-time top 10
Tim Duncan, no
has
doubt the greatest
virtually
power forward
remained
of all
the
time.
same for years. The most recent player to be on this list was LeBron James, who's been on it for about a decade now. And before him, the most recent players to join this exclusive club were Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant. Regardless of where you choose to rank these players among your all-time top 10, the players that make up this top 10 haven't budged in over a decade. Recently, I was tempted to add Kevin Durant to this list, but realistically, I couldn't bring myself to remove anyone in his place, so he remains on the outside looking in. But after this championship run by Stephen Curry and his entire season as a whole, the time has come. It's time we add a new player.
We knocking out
list.
Wilt then, right?
It's been a long time coming.
Damn.
It's well deserved.
Damn, so he jumped from 11th up to 7. Dang, man. Yo. What y'all think, man? What y'all think? I'm cool with it.
Stephen Curry is now undebatably a top 10 player of all time, and this season has cemented his spot on this list. Every all-time player has won with their respective organizations. This is a definitive requirement of greatness. But only a few players made such a massive impact that the success of an entire franchise began and ended with them. Tim Duncan introduced winning basketball to San Antonio. They couldn't win before
much fun
he
to
got
watch,
there,
Uncle
and they
say.
haven't won since he left. Michael Jordan didn't just win with the Bulls. He was the Bulls. Stephen Curry isn't just winning in a Warriors jersey. He is the Golden State Warriors.
He is the Golden State Warriors.
In 2009, he came into a struggling franchise, and over the last 13 seasons, he has turned them
Slept
into a
on too
behemoth.
in the draft.
See, it's one thing to come into a franchise that has seen success, one that has won before and has championship DNA. It is a completely different accomplishment to be drafted to a franchise that has never even sniffed a title and turned them into a dynasty. Russell did it, Mike did it, Duncan did it, and Steph has spent the last decade doing it as well. But you don't have to watch Steph tear your favorite team apart to see his generational impact. Steph is as important to the Warriors' success as any player has ever been to any team in NBA.
Man, that's a good point too, you know, like looking at his top 10 and stuff like that, just because, I don't know, man, like, when you think of Will, you think of him as like the individual player. I don't think about him in terms of like the teams that he played for.
A history. Here's a chart of the top 10 players all
chart
time,
time. Chart time.
And how many wins they added to their respective teams over the course of their entire career. For example, throughout Wilt Chamberlain's career, his team won 7.5% more when he played versus when he didn't play. Shaq's
That's
team
actually
won
insane.
15% more when he played versus when he was sitting out. Now, anything above
is Wilt
10%
overrated?
is incredible, and nearly all of these players are far above that threshold. When Kobe played, the Lakers won 21.5% more games than when he didn't. Larry Bird led to the direct result of the Celtics winning 22.8% more games. And, of course, the two players that had the largest impact on their team's success are Michael Jordan, and with a large gap above everyone else, LeBron James. But the most important, most impactful, game-changing player for any franchise in the history of the NBA is Stephen Curry. The Warriors win over...
Okay, so just thoughts on this one real quick here, because I do think context is important, and I am just curious how many of those games without Steph Curry also weren't without, you know, like Klay Thompson or Kevin Durant. And I say that for the same other ones too, man. It's like, you know, how many other stars were missing or what was the injuries like that season. Because I do think that's important. Because one thing to win without, you know, Steph Curry, it's another thing to win without Steph Curry and Klay.
Over 32% more games when Curry is playing versus when he's not. That is the equivalent of Steph adding an additional 26 wins for the Warriors over the course of each regular season of his entire career, just by himself. But this isn't some sort of theoretical impact found by just using numbers. We have seen, with our own eyes, just how lost the Warriors are without Steph. 2 years ago, just 5 games into the Warriors season, Steph broke his hand and was sidelined for the remainder of the season.
Took him out.
And in that season, the Warriors weren't just bad. They weren't just one of the worst teams in the NBA. They were literally, by far, the worst team in the entire league. The very next season, Steph
D'Lo was a Photoshop, man. He never played there.
Percentage more than doubled. And, well, the rest is history. No matter which players come and go, Regardless of how the roster changes around him, Steph
Feel that
remains at
background's
the
tripping me
center
out, man.
of one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history.
You watching
The
Stranger
Warriors
Things?
should have never won this championship. This title was not in the cards for them. A long shot at best. Just 10 years ago, it was almost unanimously agreed upon that a team could not win a championship off of three-pointers and jump shots. It was believed that you could not win a title with a point guard doing
Yo, and that was even, yeah, I really killed the momentum here, but that was even the same. Like, I remember like the Orlando Magic when they had like the Dwight Howard, like they had like one of like the most dominant centers. No, he actually was the most dominant at that time, I believe. Yao Ming fans might argue with that too. Like in the paint, and they had him surrounded, you know, with what was it, Jameer Nelson, Hito Turkoglu, Rashard Lewis, and then JJ Redick, guys like that, man, and all 3-point shooters. And I don't know, man, they didn't win it though. Like I don't know what changed. I don't know like what made. I guess they got to a finals. They didn't win it. It's just weird how like they have like perfected this though. It's like we've kind of seen it in ways before.
Heavy lifting for your offense. 2015 was a fluke. 2016 was a blown lead. The next two, well, those don't really count, right? They had Kevin Durant. All they do is shoot threes. They'll never win again playing that style of basketball. The Warriors aren't even a Kevin Durant or be a final.
I feel like
I wouldn't bet against us.
I was like Doctor Strange, all the multiverses. All right, guys, that's all we got for this video, man. Very entertaining as always. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out, my friends.